It's okay. Don't worry about it then.
Can I not be seen?
I can see you on your
This
laptop
is
camera.
the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
So you're good. You can just not use that phone if you don't.
So I'm on my computer.
Yeah, you're on your computer.
Okay,
Yeah. So if you want to be on your phone to just play or Google something or whatever, but we're looking at you on your computer.
Okay.
And I'm hearing you through the microphone and your like the big microphone. Your computer is muted. I've got that taken care of.
Got it.
So you're set. Your camera is the FaceTime camera.
Okay.
Or if you want to just look at me across the room, it's fine too. It's all good. Whatever you like.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get it going on a Memorial Day. Good morning. It's Monday, Memorial Day. I do not want to say happy Memorial Day because Memorial Day is not happy, but it is a great morning and it is a good Monday. Hope you and yours are doing well. Hope you are observing the day in remembrance for what it is, because it is Memorial Day, the day where we remember everyone who has given their life for this country. And so because of that, we are going to do a show as best we can and have a great show and have a great Monday and kick off the week on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. BamaCentral.com. You're watching us on the Bama Central YouTube channel. You're checking us out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You're checking us out on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, everywhere you get the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. We appreciate you doing that. We're going to have a lot of fun today with our friend Theo Fernandez. You follow Theo Fernandez at Theo Fernandez _ extra special with the 2 underscores. We're going to do a few things today, Theo. We're live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. I don't think Derek is upstairs. Derek gave his team off. So if you need insurance needs, call Derek tomorrow at 205-758-3391. It was Derek's birthday over the weekend, so I imagine he stacked together birthday, Memorial Day, long weekend, and gave his team off. But Red and Reese are upstairs, and they will be upstairs tomorrow. You can call them for all your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. They would love to talk to you about home, life, auto insurance. We appreciate Derek Daniel for letting us hang out in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. Oh, did I really?
Yeah.
What did I mess up?
You 1 underscore.
Only 1 underscore?
Yeah, Joe just tweeted. He tagged a random Theo Fernandez on the show.
Great. We hope he joins
The
us.
guy looks kind of French. It might actually be a fun listen.
All right. We hope he joins the show. Absolutely.
I do too now.
Oops. My bad. I thought I got both underscores in there, but you're extra special. I'm sorry. That's a fumble fingers.
You see, this would be my username if it was available, but this Theo Fernandez.
So we have to buy it from him?
Maybe. I mean, he only has 170 followers.
Oh, 170. You got to give that up, bro.
He hasn't tweeted since 2016, so it's kind of just lost.
Elon needs to discontinue those accounts.
He's got to step up there.
I've got my old account from like high school through first or second year of college or so. It's out there if people can find it. But yeah, every time I do stumble across it, I'm like, man, I wish I could delete it. I don't know I don't know the login credentials for it anymore. But it's just out there. I'm like, that's not good. That's not cool, I guess.
And there might be some Joe Gaither just somewhere in America, like wishing he could have that username too.
Well, I'll tell you this. My high school, there was a senior when I was a freshman. His name was Joe Gaither as well.
Seriously.
Identical. Yeah, and he was from North Carolina. They were like, "Oh, do you know the other Joe Gaither?" I'm like, "No, I didn't. My entire life, I've been the only Joe Gaither that there is." So, sorry, I tagged your cousin, your brother, your long lost, whoever you are, alter ego.
Alter ego, another life, huh?
Good morning, Theo. How are you? Sorry for tagging the wrong person.
No worries. I'm still having a great morning. I'm energized. I'm awake and ready to talk some Alabama sports.
Absolutely. Let's talk some Alabama sports. Theo, we've listened to a lot of music before we started. What's the number one thing that we played?
Well, we played Neon Moon, which is one of my 3 favorite songs ever created. And that is not an exaggeration at all.
I love it.
I just love that song. I've sang it probably about 6 times at Red Shed Wednesday night karaoke.
Oh, I need to see that then.
Every single time. It's amazing. That's my favorite. It's the best karaoke song.
Are you bringing the house down?
Oh yeah. Now we're doing crowd work, everything.
Oh gosh.
Now,
so next Wednesday, I'm checking you out.
Now the best karaoke we've ever had was me and Hunter Brantley. We sang Tequila.
Dun, 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 tequila.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
Except we did not say Tequila. We said Rumple.
Oh.
We should have got free Rumple shots at the end, but we had some fun there.
Wild Theo in his college days. Oh
Gotta
my
enjoy
gosh.
him, right?
Oh goodness gracious. Theo, it's 96 days away from Alabama kickoff. On Friday, we talked about great 99s. I picked Lee Tiffin as my favorite number 99. Not a lot of 99s to pick from. We took 99. We took Lee Tiffin. We took Raekwon Davis. We took Josh Chapman. Sorry, we are going to skip 98, 97 because we weren't here on Saturday and Sunday. We're here at 96. So, how do you feel about Tim Keenan's 2025 season?
I feel very good, actually. And honestly, like, he's a guy that I think is clearly in for, it's hard to even say breakout year because he's been a very good player on this team. But I really think that there's another level for him to hit. And I would be surprised if he doesn't hit it. I think he's one of the players who, and you'll see it all throughout the summer where guys talk about like, oh, Alabama football players are going to step. I think he's on every one of those lists. And I think it's for good reason.
Yeah, I'm excited for Tim Keenan. I think that he's one of the more underrated players on the team. He's always been one of the more. Last year, I didn't. Okay, so two seasons ago, 23, I thought he was incredible. I thought he was just outstanding, and I guess that was the last year in the Nick Saban system. Mm-hmm. I don't think that he struggled last year. That's not the right word, but I don't know that he was as impactful last year in the Kane Womack system. I think he operates really, really well as a run stuff and nose tackle who's eating up blocks for the guys behind him. I wonder if the Womack system has him just going into one gap, being a little more aggressive, being a little more trying to get into the backfield. But even that said, I am expecting a really good year for him. And I think that he can take that step forward in the Womack system. I think that he just had, 2-3 years in playing Nick Saban style. And last year was just always a little bit of a, we're learning on the fly in the middle of the SEC season and kind of, bullets are flying. So I'm expecting a really nice season for Tim Keenan.
And he absolutely looks like an NFL player to me, because of all the stuff he does well. And, teams are good at evaluating that stuff. They're like, okay, look at the role he's playing and look at the role that we would have him play. And, I have no doubt that he can contribute. A year from now, we're probably talking about him as a draft pick.
Third rounder? You feeling fourth rounder?
Yeah, on that day 2, day 3, fringe. Yeah, I think that's a very good spot for him.
And look, man, you're getting drafted in the 3rd, 4th round. You're winning at life.
Oh yeah. Now,
you have your college career was successful.
He could play his way up like a Dalvin Tomlinson type, into the 2nd round.
Yes.
Mind you, Tomlinson was really good for my Giants for a while before going to Minnesota.
Yeah, that's a really good comparison.
And that's the higher end of things. Like that's the, best case scenario because it's hard to get drafted that high doing what he does.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think that's a really strong comparison. Yeah. So 96 Tim Keenan, happy Tim Keenan days away.
Well, while we're doing our countdown, it's exciting.
Tell me.
It's May 26th. We're doing the show 3 months from now, this Monday, this last week of August. We'll be preparing for FSU.
Man, Theo, are you a War Chant fan or not? I want to ask you that. We'll go there.
I respect it.
Go, baby. Give me the War Chant.
I think it's really cool. I really do.
I'm not as much on like the Atlanta Braves doing it, and maybe this is only my experience. For me, it was always this Florida State thing, and then I don't know when it became a Kansas City Chiefs thing. Maybe always, and I never realized that. Probably, but basically, my childhood perception was it's Florida State's thing, and then when I realized, like in the midnight, the Braves are good. Why are they doing the War Chant? Oh, okay, it's the Braves, and then I got exposed with the Chiefs. I love it. I think it's amazing.
Well, anything's going to be cooler when it's a college show, like when college fans just make everything more fun. But no, I agree. It's cool. And I'm really excited I'm really hoping I get to go down there with WVUA.
You better start badgering
something.
Gary right now.
Oh yeah,
Gary Harris, your number one man, Theo Fernandez, needs to be in Tallahassee, shooting the game on the field. Ooh.
That's the goal. I don't think Gary's gonna listen to this podcast, but if he does,
Gary listens every day. What are you talking about? Gary listens to this show before his show, the Gary Harris Show, 9 to 11 on Tide 100.9, so that he can know what to talk about.
Well, that would be a great strategy.
I know that he's following it. Gary's a smart man.
He is. Me and Gary talked last night after I anchored, and
what was his constructive criticism for you?
Well, there was no constructive criticism yesterday for the first time. It was a more positive, and I've had so much fun anchoring, and I've really appreciated the opportunity. So it's just been incredible. It's been a whirlwind. I'll go out there, anchor for 5 minutes, and it'll feel like 90 seconds every time.
So tell everybody where they can find you on the weekends at WVUA 23.
Yeah, every other weekend it's me and this girl, Catherine Mantel, and we're kind of alternating weekends for the summer. But you tune in. Sports comes on right around 10:20. You can watch the whole show starting at 10 if you want to just find out about the news. But yeah, I get my 5 minutes at around 10:20.
There you go.
Saturdays and Sundays, and it is a blast every time. We show some Braves highlights. We talk about Alabama.
Ronald Acuna smacking the first pitch you saw post ACL, right?
And then he had another one, his second game.
Did he really?
Yeah, 2 homers, 2 days.
Wow, congratulations.
He is back.
My man Derek Daniel is a huge Braves fan.
Really?
Huge Braves fan.
Well, Atlanta, 2 games under 500, dropped the series. Things not looking.
But they started, better than the first of the year. They were like garbage water. They were like the bottom end of the trash can in the first of the year.
Yeah, so the way that because I'm a Yankees fan, I don't know the Braves all that well, although I'd probably more than most teams just because of how much I'm exposed to them. It seems like they're still not quite winning at the rate they want to.
Sure, of course.
And also, that's a tough division, obviously. So
are the Mets leading the division?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the standings one time this year.
No, the Mets have been impressive despite Soto really being
meet the Mets.
A slightly above average hitter.
Step right up and beat the Mets.
That's how the lyric goes in the Bronx every time.
Isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we said.
Okay. All right, just making sure I was on the right page there. I'm not a complete baseball dummy. So I was in Hoover all week this week. Actually, before I go there, we need to go to the other 96 that we got. I'm doing the little research for 96s. I want to know, if you are on the voicemail line, what you thought of Michael Myers. Joined the Alabama team in 96, so 96 to about 98, 99. Michael Myers from Hines Community College ended up having 66 tackles, 21 tackles for a loss, 24 quarterback pressures, 8 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries on a team that finished 10-3 and won the SEC West in the last year under Coach Stallings. How about a defensive lineman named Michael Myers?
So here's something fascinating, right? He played 96. The first Halloween movie came out 78. He is probably one of the last people. So he's probably like 4 or 5 years old when that movie comes out.
Yes.
I don't. That had to be his Halloweens growing up had to be awesome.
Do you think he just went with it and got the mask and was just like, I'm Michael Myers?
Oh, I know I would.
One of my best friends in the world loves the Halloween series, Love You Taylor, and he's got an authentic mask, and he will wear like the blue jumper, and he is so creepy during Halloween. I mean that in a complimentary way. He's going for it, and he'll stand there like all stoned, all like stoic, and it's like, ooh, you're freaking me out, bud.
That is awesome.
So Michael Myers is the other 96. We will keep going tomorrow, 95. 95 on the countdown. Mason Woods will bring us some great 95s to talk about. Let's do baseball. Then let's head back to football because we can knock out like the most prevalent news or whatever, and then we can go back to football because I think I have a football topic that I am excited about, and that is kind of hard in the summer, to be honest with you, to be excited about a football topic. I saw this on social media. I already threw it at Theo. I threw it at Mason. This probably is going to be an 18-day topic because I also want to know from the voicemail line, especially, look, I know the demographics. I know a lot of you are older than me that listen to this show, and I love that. So the 5 drives that I have listed right here are all fairly modern. If there is a better drive, Van Tiffen, the kick, please let us know. The best drive in Alabama history. I have 5 candidates. All of them are fairly recent. If there is a drive in the Gene Stallings era, if there's a drive that you loved from any time when you watched Alabama football, please call the voicemail line at 205-462-7340, extension 800. That's going to be the Alabama football topic that I think we can get the most legs out of today. All right, Theo. But first, we got to go to baseball. We were in Hoover over the week. Obviously, we've talked Alabama, split the week. Last night, no regional bid. Last night, you get 8 SEC teams, no Alabama. And the reaction is, what? Not fair. Alabama beat Southern Miss, correct? Beat Coastal Carolina, correct? And both of those Sunbelt teams are hosting. But I'm not sure. I did the preview. I did the little preview last night for us on BamaCentral.com, and I realized, oh my gosh, the last time an Alabama baseball team won 40 regular season games, I think, was 2002. So it's a historic year. It's a great year for Rob Vaughn. We got to give him some credit there. Rob Vaughn just had the misfortune of having that great year in the SEC with all these other elite programs. Theo, what's your reaction to Alabama not hosting a regional, an NCAA regional?
Look, we did it to ourselves, and that's how Rob Vaughn and company have to feel. You lost a winnable rubber match at Auburn. You lost a series in Florida you could have won to end the season. You got ran off the field just about by Tennessee. You blew a 6-1 lead versus LSU, and you were one strike away from winning a series against the SEC champion Vanderbilt.
That's the biggest one to me.
If any of those go the other way, look, baseball is such a random game. I understand that. But, you had so many opportunities, and, there's really, I have very little sympathy for anyone who wants to sit around and complain about, Alabama deserved this regional. You were a bottom half team in the SEC at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think if you win that Vanderbilt series, I mean, look, Carson Osmer was great this year for Alabama.
Yes.
And I expect him to continue to be good in the postseason, but had a bad night on that Sunday against against Vandy. And blew up in the last two Saturday or Sunday.
It was the Sunday.
The last game of the series blew up in the last inning, and Alabama lost the game and the series. You win that game. Are you still playing Tennessee in the second game? I'm not sure how that would have affected the standings for the SEC tournament. But if you win that game and you don't give up 20 hits and just absolutely look hapless in Hoover against Tennessee, I think you probably will be. Now, not an expert here, but I think you probably are in that host. Tennessee's hosting. Ole Miss is hosting. Look, those two spots were probably yours.
Yeah, Ole Miss. Honestly, I think if Ole Miss had not gone on that run, we very well could have had their spot.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And first of all, incredible run by the Rebels. That was awesome. I mean, just the upsets.
Gosh almighty, who the hell are we?
Yeah, no, it was a fun SEC tournament because I don't think Vanderbilt Ole Miss was on many people's bingo card for that championship matchup. But yeah, look, great season from Rob Vaughn and company. Really, I mean, and again, I didn't realize just how special this is for this program. I don't think people would have been
The SEC is just that tough.
Yeah, the SEC is that tough. And I don't think there would have been national outrage or anything if Alabama was given a regional, but, there shouldn't be because we don't have one.
I think the NCAA says, 8, that's probably our max for this conference.
Because it ties the record from 2023, and we were one of those 8 programs that year.
So we get the announcement at 11 a.m. Will Miller is going to be covering it for Bama Central. Alabama Crimson Tide on SI. Will Miller will be all over it. Alabama probably going to be a 2 seed in Clemson, in Tallahassee, in Southern Miss. One of those 3. Or Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
No, they didn't host. They didn't get one. They didn't
Coastal.
go. Coastal, you think too?
Yeah, because I think that's a possible.
Okay, all right. I'll go with you.
I'm hoping for Southern Miss.
Southern Miss and Tallahassee would probably be your 2 easiest trips.
Oh, I wouldn't really want to go to Tallahassee. I don't think.
I'm just talking about distance.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just talking about. I just mean distance and fan base and like
Yeah.
accessibility.
You see, as far as like the seating goes, like FSU is a top game.
Sure.
You know, like I would think like a Coastal or a Southern Miss as far as the seating goes. You know, because they're gonna bury us with one of the teams that's viewed as a weaker one. You know,
So we'll see. It's in Hattiesburg,
and they're not gonna send us out to obviously like Corvallis or
Right.
somewhere crazy.
So we'll see in Hattiesburg, hopefully. Will Miller will be all over it for us at BamaCentral.com. 11 a.m. is the selection show, so you'll be able to see that fairly quickly on our website. He'll be all over it, and we will see if the guys can put on a better performance in the regional than they did last year in Tallahassee.
They can't do much worse. As long as our season doesn't end with a 4-0 loss to Stetson, I think, you
think it's going to be okay? All right, Theo, let's move off the baseball because that's the extent of my expertise, and I don't want to tease the fans anymore. I don't want to tease the fans with any hooey there. Didn't you have a football talk? I have a voicemail from Dax, and Dax says that it is in relation to your football topic. Basically, where I have the rest of the show is my football topic, your football topic, Dax's voicemails. So since I'm arrogant, I think my topic might be better than yours. I don't even know what your topic might be amazing. I don't even know it. It's a surprise.
I think my topic will be a fun 7-minute conversation.
Go for it. Lead us in there, and then we'll work Dax's voicemail into it.
Okay, so do you remember?
No.
You remember who our top 3 recruits were in that very good 2023 class? We had 3 5-star plus recruits.
23 was how many recruits ago? That was 2, 3.
The guys who were freshmen in the 2023 season.
Oh my God! I'm just gonna have to Google it because
so
my memory is just not. Sorry.
Number 1 was Keon Keeley, which we've talked about a lot, and I still think can find a role.
Okay,
that's besides the point.
Sure.
We had Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
We had Kadyn Proctor.
Oh.
Now you look at these way too early mock drafts, right? Yeah. They're both getting put across the board in the top 10. You'd be hard pressed to find mocks where they're not both top 10 prospects. Who do you think is going to be the higher draft pick out of those two? And who do you like? Because I look at both of them and I see 2. I think these guys both look like studs, you know?
They look like studs, absolutely. Caleb's issue is you're playing safety.
Yeah.
And the NFL thinks that safeties grow on trees, which is not the case.
It is not.
But I know my Bears think the safeties grow on trees. We can just go get somebody in the 5th round. It drives me nuts. But so the question is, who's getting drafted first?
Who's getting drafted first?
So Caleb, all right. If I'm I'm just going to think about it from a scout. If I'm a scout, I'm biased towards Caleb Downs because I think he's a better prospect. I think he's a more complete player. I think he is a safer player. So right now, I think he is closer to his NFL. I think he's closer to maximizing his potential than Kadyn Proctor. However, goodness gracious. And I mean, I'll just think about it from my Bears perspective. We've got a 5th, 6th round off left tackle who is okay. We'll see. You're all right. That tackle position is so valuable. Oh, it's so valuable. And Kadyn, his measurables are just perfect. The height, wingspan, weight, perfect for the league. He has not quite, I think Alabama fans would agree, he's not quite reached the potential. He's not quite played to the potential that I think the Alabama fans would want from a top 3 recruit in that class, 5-star plus in that class. And I think he's not quite played to the level of what an NFL team would want to take him in the top 3, top 4, top 5. However, you put 12 games together, Kadyn Proctor, in 2025, that's not, it's going to be a what have you done for me lately? Right? It's going to be your last 12 games were really incredible. You didn't allow Ty Simpson, Austin Mack, Keelan Russell, whoever to get sacked. You were dominant in the run game. You do that, Kadyn Proctor, you're going 2, 3, 4 overall, man. Depends on the quarterbacks. because you're gonna get somebody taking quarterbacks, right? Somebody's gonna try to get Arch Manning to go to the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. It is a great question because I think Caleb's a better player playing a less valuable position. But I think Kadyn Proctor's ceiling and athleticism and just body frame is going to make NFL teams absolutely. Was Armand Mimbu like an elite tackle this year?
Yeah.
What did he go? 12, 13?
So, yeah, we're at the.
Here we go. I'll find it. I'll find
I
it.
forget. It might have even been a little. I think it was 10.
2025 NFL draft. Where's my picks by round? Perfect. So your tackles end up going. You end up. I mean, Mimbu's like who I think of because it was mostly projection. But you got Will Campbell went 4.
Mm-hmm.
Will Campbell went 4. Kadyn Proctor is a better physical specimen than Will Campbell.
Yeah, but Will Campbell is also just. And
he was solid.
Absurdly good. I think
he was extremely good, but as you know how many people were, his arms are short.
Yeah.
Kadyn Proctor's arms aren't short.
Mm-hmm. His arms are perfect.
So. Will Campbell's play and tape overcame the short arms. Right? You keep going. Mimbu went 7.
Oh, wow.
Mimbu went 7 from Missouri, offensive tackle. Like, I think he's a better player than Armand Mimbu. Kadyn Proctor.
Yeah. And that's why, like, you guys have all probably seen him. Like, there are mock drafts that have Kadyn Proctor.
I love you, Theo. Thank you for throwing this at us. Keep going.
Like, he's mocked at number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not hard to see because if he puts together Will Campbell level film, it's
over.
People will be talking about him as, it's a generational prospect. Like, you will hear that word thrown out there, which, first of all, because they throw that word out way too much.
Every year.
Every year. There can't be a generational prospect every year. But you know that they will
by
use
definition,
that word.
That's not the way that word works.
Yeah, it's one of my pet peeves, but that's besides the point. And look, you talk about safeties and how the NFL views them, because the Giants have that same perspective. I've seen us go from Landon Collins. You let Landon Collins walk. You draft Xavier McKinney. You let McKinney walk. You draft Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota. And we've had success using that method. McKinney was a great player. Landon Collins was. And there's a blueprint there.
I mean, Kelvin
said,
was Kelvin Banks an elite tackle in college football this year? No. You had who's the Georgia player? Michael Williams whooped his tail.
Oh yeah,
whooped his tail twice. And Kelvin Banks goes 9th overall.
Mm-hmm. Right. So with that being said, when you look at the positional differences,
mm-hmm.
Caleb Downs just might be too good of a prospect for that to apply to him.
The first safety off the board this past year, Malachi Starks at 27.
Yeah, no, and
Malachi is a good player. Is a real good player. I mean, of course, the Ravens take him.
Oh yeah, no, of course he falls there. So let's take a look at this right now. Actually, highest safeties drafted, because it's going to be interesting.
Isaiah Simmons, would he have qualified as a safety?
I don't think so. Isaiah Simmons was just
he's kind of a tweener. He's a husky. Isaiah Simmons would have been a perfect husky for in our little system right here. Isaiah Simmons. What else?
There's only been one safety since 1992 in the top 5. You can get this.
Ed Reed?
No, surprisingly.
Troy Polamalu?
Those were 2 of the 3.
Reed, Polamalu. All right, cool.
So those guys actually, neither of them were taken in the top 15, believe it or not.
It's not Bob Sapp. It's the kid from the safety. Bob Sapp is a fighter.
Yeah. You're on the wrong train of thought here.
Okay. Hold on. Give me another hand here.
Since
92.
It's a very sad story.
Oh gosh. 21. Sean Taylor. Taylor. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Which again, that absolute stud, right?
Sure.
You look at it. We've had 8 safeties in the top 10 in the past 30 years.
Did I just get 3 of them?
Yeah. Oh, no. So Polamalu and Reed were not Like they were.
Ooh, so give me the other 7 then. Let's hear them.
We've got,
Sean Taylor.
and this is actually shocking to me. I don't know a single one of these other names.
Hit me.
We've got Stanley Richard.
Nope.
We've got Eric Turner, who
nope.
2-time Pro Bowler. Okay, so he was a hit. We got Patrick Bates.
I know that name.
He lasted 4 years in the NFL. That was a Raiders draft pick.
The Raiders.
And then after him, nobody got taken in the top 15 for 7 years. Roy Williams.
Texas.
It actually doesn't say the school, but the Cowboys took him and he was a bust, apparently.
Texas.
Then we had Sean Taylor, which unfortunate. Dante Whitner.
Yes, Dante Hittner.
Dante Hittner, huh? Michael Huff.
Texas or Ohio State.
Yes.
Ohio State.
And then I know this. Ron Landry. He went.
Oh, LSU?
Yes. 6th overall, Washington, 2007.
Okay.
I'm assuming this is an old article.
What about Tyrann Mathieu?
Yeah, okay. So that's on me because I chose a 14-year-old article.
That's okay. That's okay.
That
That's
is-
okay. That's okay. Keep going here. Where did Tyrann Mathieu get drafted? Tyrann Mathieu was was Honey Badger don't care.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that whole article didn't look fully right to me. I was like,
That's okay. That's
this
okay.
cannot
We're
be
on a
right.
good track. I think your point is well made, though. That historically, safeties are just not really. You got to be really, really doing something. So
You see, I thought Honey Badger was like a superstar at LSU.
he was.
He was a
but he got in
third-round
trouble.
draft
Well, he got in trouble. He got massive.
okay.
It was all on and off the field trouble. I think he liked the marijuana a little bit, and there was a little bit of a some rub there. But when he got on the field, absolutely amazing.
So Eric Berry.
He might have had Eric Berry, Tennessee,
He went
Kansas City Chiefs.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. Keep going. What are you finding there, bud?
So yeah, Eric Berry and Sean Taylor are the only safeties to be drafted top 5.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
So I don't know, because
Is Caleb Downs, Eric Berry, or Sean Taylor? Oh,
he might be.
maybe.
Right? I mean,
maybe.
this guy is unreal. This guy legitimately, and the case that I made all throughout 2023 was I thought that 3 years of Caleb Downs could make him the best defensive player in Alabama Crimson Tide history.
Too bad, sir.
Yeah. And obviously that did not happen, but just look at how unreal he was, and he always has been. He's PFF's number 1 player in the draft. And, man, I think that there could be a team who falls in love with him and, they throw caution in the wind in this. Yeah, best player available.
All right, your Giants are sitting there 3rd overall. Are you taking Proctor or Caleb Downs?
A lot of that depends on if Evan Neal gains a pulse.
Buddy, I know this is an Alabama show, but we can be honest at this point.
Look,
I loved him here.
Evan Neal, if you guys are out of the New York Giants discourse, has just become a massive meme at this point with the whole fan base. Where like guys, like fans are just sending him like crazy DMs and like he's like clapping back at fans, and
He needs to get out of New York.
yes,
Like they're very well could be a career resurgence somewhere else, but he needs to get out of New York.
With that being said, like Mekhi Becton was a quality player
Sure.
on a Super Bowl winning team.
Sure.
I would be more than okay with Evan Neal at this point just being a solid starting guard.
All right.
And now for the Giants, like we have Andrew Thomas, we're locked down. We're not going to need a left tackle for a while, knock on wood. I just think that Proctor is, and this is probably why Proctor's going to go higher. Like, I just think it's too crazy to ignore. Like, I just think that if he really takes the jump that some people are expecting, like we're looking at an absurd prospect.
Yeah, we just hit 3 tackles in the top 10 that I think he's physically better than Will Campbell. And I think he played as good as Armand Mimbu and Kelvin Banks last year. I mean, you can talk about minuscule degrees, lower. Well, it's fine, whatever. But those three tackles all win the top 10 last year. I think Caleb's a better player, but for the sake of your discussion, I'm going to say that Kadyn Proctor will be drafted before him.
Like, I cannot see a universe where, barring a horrible injury, Proctor falls out of the first round. Knock on wood, yes. Like,
Absolutely.
just
no injury for any
too
player.
good of a prospect to fall out of the first round. Like, he could have a horrible season. He could have an objectively bad season, underwhelm, and some team's still going to be like, oh, look at what we could do with this guy.
Yeah, I can fix him. That's what every player, they all think, I can fix him. And not that there's something to be fixed, but you're suggesting that maybe he doesn't,
Then that's purely hypothetical. I think he's going to have that position on lock. And, have you seen, I just think he's going to be absurd. You seen the clip of him waving off the guy next to him mid-play and just, he had help coming in, waves the guy off and just takes the guy. Like, GMs are salivating at the thought of that. And they should be, because it's unreal.
Ryan Grubb is too.
Oh, yeah.
Kalen DeBoer is too.
And I think that line as a whole is going to be really improved. And he's going to look even better.
You got the two best friends that everybody had, Kadyn Proctor and Will Conform, be bookending the lines. Yeah. It's going to be great.
I think for me,
two best friends that everybody, isn't that the song?
I'm not sure. I'm not too young for this.
Man, sorry. That's all right. So, okay. So you told Dax what the topic was.
Yes.
And he called on the voicemail line. Dax, I love you. You called all last week, and I skipped it 2 days because of my daggum ADD. But you have a linebacker voicemail that's in our tank that I will save for Mason tomorrow. But since you're calling on this topic, which we love, 205-462-7340, extension 800. If you want to be like Dax, if you want to show your skills, show how smart you are, I really want somebody to call on this next topic, best Alabama drives ever. But here is Dax on Caleb Downs or Kadyn Proctor.
What is up, guys? It is Dax again. I have a two-parter voicemail today. The first part is going to be referencing Theo's topic, whether Caleb Downs or Kadyn Proctor is going to go first in the NFL draft. I think if they would have went into the draft last year, Caleb Downs would have definitely gone higher than Kadyn Proctor. However, I think the positional value of the left tackle is taken very much into account when it comes into this next NFL draft. And I think Kadyn Proctor is going to play himself into like a top 5 pick. I really believe that.
Theo, you're welcome to wave me down and pause if you want to respond to any of this. I'm going to keep him going, though.
Well, what I think is, I'm going to jump in really quick because, what would it take for Caleb Downs? Because, I think a lot of people viewed Malachi Starks as, this guy could go top 10 a year ago. I think that, he was being talked about like that. And I think that, I don't think many people expected him to go that low, 27. It's hard to see Caleb Downs slipping to that point because, everyone talks about, Jeremiah Smith, best player in college football. I think Caleb Downs might have an argument. I really do.
All right, we keep going with Dax.
I think Caleb Downs is probably going to be a top 10 pick, but I do think that Kadyn Proctor will go higher than Caleb Downs in this upcoming NFL draft. Now on to the next topic. Since we're already there talking about an offensive lineman, we're going to go over the offensive lineman. So our 5 starters, we've got Mr. Parker Brailsford at center. He's going to be so nice this year, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Parker Brailsford is probably first or second best lineman on this entire team. Then we got Kadyn Proctor sitting at the left tackle. Who's going to be the left guard? Who is going to be the left guard?
Olas.
Jaden Roberts. That's it. I think Jaden Roberts is left guard.
He's on the right. He's on the right side. It's
vending
okay.
machine with feet. He's so big. He's also third best offensive lineman, maybe second. I don't know. We got 3 fantastic offensive linemen. Then we got at the right guard. I really think Olaus Alinen is going to take over that starting position for the significant remainder of the season. I hope. I like him. I heard a lot of good things about him in spring. And then the right tackle, we got Mr. Wilkin Formby, Northridge, the Northridge man. Oh, my gosh. Dude is 6'7", 322. Big man. Kadyn Proctor is also 6'7", 360. But I'm talking about Wilkin here. Wilkin is going to be so nice. I think he shook off that South Florida game from last year. Then we got the backups. We got Arkell Anugwam. I don't know much about him, but I've heard good things. The freshman Jackson Lloyd, dude's an actual machine. Cam Dewberry, he's a senior, so he's definitely gonna be itching for some of that spot on the field. He also might be playing right guard. I've heard a lot of good things about Cam as well. Joseph Ionata, he's a redshirt freshman. I don't know where he's going to play. I don't know much about our backup offensive lineman. Micah Debose, another freshman, did 6'5", 325. The dude is going to be really nice in the future. I know that. Michael Carroll's also one of those. He's one of the freshmen that will be vowing for playing time. He's going to be nice. And then we got Gino Vandermark, also a candidate for right guard. Our offensive line is actually kind of deep now that I'm looking at it. Holy crap. It's going to be better than last year. It better be better than the last 5 years. I'll tell you that much. And then good old the only guy that Kalen DeBoer screamed at last year, Mr. Rock Montgomery. I'm really liking him. You can tell Kalen DeBoer really likes him too. He's going to do some really good stuff next year. And we got Mal Waldrop. He's a freshman. He's going to be really good. I've heard a lot of good things about Mal. And Casey Poe, I haven't heard much about him, but I've heard his name floating around a lot. So, all right, that concludes my voicemail. Let me know y'all's thoughts. Roll Tide.
Dude, that was great.
That was great.
So he already commented. My bad. You got the side switched up on the guards. No problem. Right and left. Jaden's going to be playing right. That left guard's where it's going to be really interesting. Why don't you go there? Because I think Olaus, Cam Dewberry, Arkell Anugwam, probably not Gino Vandermark. I think you got a lot of great options at left guard. What do you think about the offensive line and left guard?
So you see, I'm a little surprised. Like I was surprised. I was waiting for Vandermark to be brought up because he to me looks like a strong candidate to start. I was doing some reading just randomly, like probably about a month ago on Cam Dewberry. He was a freshman All-American. Like The Athletic named him that. And I'm not fully sure still what we have in him. He's a guy that I still don't know.
Transfer from A&M.
Well, yeah, but I don't know how good he is. And that's kind of like, I don't know. Can he get that starting job?
Yes.
I like Olaus a lot.
I think it's those three. I think it's Gino, it's Olaus, and it's Dewberry. And I think that competition is probably like everybody's going to focus on quarterback, but I think the quarterback competition is almost done.
Yeah, it's funny how Tide just seems that grip on the job seems pretty strong.
And until he releases it, right?
Yeah.
Until he plays poorly enough to say, "Oh, we got to bring in Keelan Russell, Austin Mack." But like with left guard, it's still so no one has a grip on it. To me, no one says I am the leader. Like at least at quarterback, we know there is a leader until Ty discombobulates, whatever. Hopefully not, right? But at left guard, there is still any of these three guys could do. Like Gino has your most experience, but you want Gino. I think you want Gino to be your. Oh crap! Parker Brailsford just lost his helmet again. Throw him in. Jaden Roberts. I hope his health is so much better. But if Jaden Roberts has struggles with his health this year, then Gino steps right in. I think Gino becomes a great insurance policy for the interior three linemen, and you'd rather start Cam Dewberry, you'd rather start Olaus Alinen right there at left guard.
And I'd also say that Dewberry and Olaus probably have higher ceilings too.
Yes.
And that's a big part of the reason. Like Vandermark, he'll go out there, he'll do his job, but I don't know if we want him to be the starter now. What do you think? Like, can Michael Carroll get his way onto the field?
No.
I was gonna say, like, I think.
What tackle are you taking off? Unless you are making one of these freshmen, unless you're making Michael Carroll the left guard.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, with things being kind of up in the air, like, what would it take? How impressive would he have to be?
Very.
But when you're that kind of prospect, crazier things have happened.
Didn't Evan Neal? No, you're the Evan Neal expert now. Didn't Evan Neal? He was a tackle. He was a tackle prospect.
Yeah,
and took him a while to get on the field. But why that freshman year? But wasn't he playing guard by the end of that freshman year?
I'm not positive on that. Let's see.
This was 2019, right?
Well, yeah, it would be 19, right?
Let's see. Evan Neal came to Alabama.
Yeah, 2019, played multiple positions across the line. Settled in at left guard, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was we got to work him onto the field, and then finally it was you're our left guard.
Freshman All-American at left guard. And again, was clearly a tackle prospect.
Right. Michael Carroll, I don't know if he's a tackle or a guard. I think he probably is a guard.
Which makes it even more feasible that he,
Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I would say that it's unlikely. We'll say that because of the experience that you already have with Olaf and Cam Dewberry. I think that if Michael Carroll wins that job, and if he does, great. But if he doesn't that give you concern for your evaluation of Cam Dewberry and your development of Olaf Lennon just a little?
Yeah, but I think that.
I mean, Carroll might be that special,
right? And I think that that's a lot of his stuff reads special. Like when you look into him as a prospect. But I don't know. Like Dewberry to me, again, still not knowing exactly how good he is, which is a hard thing to gauge.
Yeah.
I've not broken down all that Texas A&M film. Hope someone has.
You're not watching all the Aggies already? Gig them, baby.
Gig them. But I mean, I do think that we could very well see Michael Carroll maybe step in. And, if Dewberry falters at all, if Olaf isn't quite as good as, they thought he would be, why not give this unreal freshman a chance?
Shoot. Get him on out there. Let him drown a little bit and get some experience.
And at the end of the day,
let him drown a little bit. We'll throw a life raft out there. We'll throw the raft. You ain't gonna really drown.
And that raft can be Vandermark coming in on a lot of snaps.
Exactly.
That's a pretty good backup to have.
Yeah.
Because Dax is right. The depth is very good. It's very impressive across the board. I'm excited to watch the line.
I love it. Good topic. Good topic with Caleb Downs or Kadyn Proctor. You guys can let us know who you think is going to get drafted first in the 2026 NFL draft, right? 2026 NFL draft. Ooh, that feels so strange. But, and Dax, absolutely. Thank you for your voicemail on the offensive line. I think that's great. You have a voicemail on linebackers that I will play tomorrow for Mason. I've written it down. That's our commitment. Oh, man. He called. I think he left us that voicemail on Wednesday of last week, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to play it," and I just went right over it. So I'm sorry about that. You can call the voicemail line at 205-462-7340, extension 800. Just like Dax, I've got one more football topic for us today, and I'm actually really excited about it.
Let's hear it.
So my name is Russ Warren, and I'm one of the owners here at Warren Tire. We started in 1961. My granddad on University Boulevard, so we've been kind of a staple here in the Tuscaloosa and the University of Alabama community since then, and so thankful to be in the third generation. And we have 2 locations now in Tuscaloosa. We're right here at the 15th Street location right now, where we just do tires, brakes, and alignments mostly here. Our university location does oil changes, engine work, air conditioning work, front end work, the whole 9 yards. And so any of our 2 locations, you can come check us out.
And we're back here in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. It's the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. You're watching us on the Bama Central YouTube channel, Facebook page. You're watching on my own Twitter machines. Listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and Spotify. We appreciate everybody subscribe, rating, and reviewing the show. Theo, I'm stealing a topic. Well, no, I'm not stealing. I'm creating a topic off of a tweet. You know, are you familiar with our friend Cruz Oxenrider?
I am.
Cruz is a big old dude on social media, and on Sunday, right, yesterday was 97 days away, correct?
Yes.
On Sunday, Cruz Oxenrider tweets, 97 days away from Alabama football, getting everybody excited. Great job. And he tweets, oh my gosh, art, absolute art. The 97-yard drive, Bryce Young leads Alabama down the field in the Iron Bowl and gives them the dagger to force overtime that ultimately turns into your two-point conversion. Mechie does the Crimson Crane in everybody's face. And that sparks a small debate. Somebody goes online and says, this is the greatest drive in Alabama history. I think it's a candidate. I absolutely think it's a candidate. But two LSU drives enter the chat. One more Auburn drive in Auburn enters the chat. And for me, and maybe it's my own personal bias. No, it is my own personal bias. An SEC championship game win enters the chat. So I've got 5 drives here. And I want to talk about them. I want to invite conversation. What is the greatest drive in Alabama football history? Now, this is a little bit of a recency biased. I have 5 drives from 09 to 21, 5 different drives. If you've got one before that, I absolutely welcome it because, you know, sometimes age and perspective blinds us. I'd love to hear someone's perspective on the Van Tiffen kick. Is that 85? I'm pretty sure that's.
Forgot the year.
Type in Van Tiffen the kick. I think it's 53 yards. I think it's 1985. I'm pretty sure it's a Legion Field. So I would love to hear someone's recollection of Alabama getting. I mean, no timeouts. We're
85.
running. Yeah, we're running onto the field. Chinese fire drill. Got to get set. The clock's running out. Imagine you're a kicker. These kickers have it so easy now. These kickers have it so simple. Van Tiffen's running out there. The clock is burning down. I would love to hear someone's perspective on that or any other great drive. Didn't Joe Namath have a pretty stellar drive that run in the mud? All right, so my 5 drives, I can't decide. I think I'm stuck. 09 at Auburn, Greg McElroy. All right. Here's what I got. All right. Oh, let me put these in order. All right. That one is 09. Yeah, right there. The 09 in Auburn. 09 in Auburn. Greg McElroy leads the team 15 plays, 79 yards, the last 7 minutes of the game. The last 7 minutes. They left Auburn with 1:24 on the clock, down 5. Right? Alabama's down 1. Alabama's losing by 1. Undefeated season on the line, right? Crimson Tide had just gone 12-2 the year before, losing to Florida, losing to Utah. And this was the redemption year. This is Coach Saban's 3rd season, right? And you are down on the plains. And Greg McElroy, goodness gracious, Trent Richardson for 7 yards. I mean, the pressure is on. You're on the plains. The time, to me, makes it a little less impressive only because the crunch is you're not, oh, we got to do this in 30 seconds. We got to do this in 1:20. But conversely, it's Nick Saban, it's Jim McElwain's 4-minute offense on steroids, on absolute steroids. It's, hey, we want to suck the last bit of this game out and score and put them in a really hard position because we don't think they can score in 1:20. So 7-minute drive. Trent Richardson for 7 yards. Greg McElroy pass incomplete. McElroy pass to Julio Jones on 3rd and 3 for 9 yards and a first down. First down again. Greg McElroy sacked, -4 yards. Greg McElroy passed to Mark Ingram. 3rd and 5. McElroy pass complete again to Julio Jones. And we're still rolling. Trent Richardson for 2 yards. McElroy complete for 11 yards to Julio Jones. Another first down. Trent Richardson for 4. McElroy complete to Julio again. Julio's a sophomore here. Mark Ingram for 1 yard. Greg McElroy, pass complete to Trent Richardson. Pretty sure it was a screen pass, 17 yards, down to the Auburn 10. Trent Richardson rushed for 4 yards. Timeout Auburn, 1:34 left in the game. Trent Richardson for 3 yards. Timeout Auburn again. They realize Alabama is just trying to suck this bad boy away and probably kick a field goal with no time left. Probably kick a 10-yard field goal with no time left, essentially, is the goal. Timeout Alabama. On 3rd and 3. Are we going to just run it again and run right into the teeth, make them take their last timeout and kick the field goal? No. Greg McElroy says, we have the dagger right here. Greg McElroy, pass complete to Roy Upchurch, 4 yards for a touchdown. Little play action pass, Roy Upchurch into the flat. Whew. Game winner. Sends me chills. Now, this one holds a very special place to me because this is right in my... I have come to Alabama as a freshman in 2008. So I am back home with my parents because I was an irresponsible child. And I am fully into the Alabama sphere at this point, and it was magic. I think this is a really strong case because without it, no first national championship. Nick Saban, undefeated season gone. You're not playing Texas. Oh, you were what, 2?
Yeah, it was. All right.
I'm teasing. This is 2009. This is 2009.
4 years old. Yeah.
I'm just teasing you.
I was going into my last year of pre-K.
Gross.
Yeah.
All right. So we move forward. We move forward for 3 years for my next candidate. 2012 at Auburn. 2012 at Auburn. A.J. McCarron, 5 plays, 72 yards, 43 seconds in the game, touchdown to put the Crimson Tide ahead 21-17, leaving LSU with 51 seconds to work with. A.J. McCarron, pass complete to 18 yards to Kevin Norwood. Then first down, A.J. McCarron, another to Kevin Norwood for 15 yards. Oh, how about 3 in a row? Kevin Norwood, 11 yards. And then we're going to try it again to Kevin Norwood, incomplete. But then the T.J. Yeldon screen pass. T.J. Yeldon off to the left-hand side, leaks out of the backfield, and A.J. McCarron dumps it over, untouched, into the end zone. And what does it for me? Yes, the circumstance. But it's the Mobile boy on the sidelines, just deep in his emotions with relief. I mean, excitement, but AJ McCarron is just bawling on the sidelines after the play, just overcome with the moment. And yeah, I'm a sucker for emotions anytime. I'm a sucker for the story, emotions, the pageantry, and for that moment, AJ's got the towel over his head, and he's just, I cannot believe this just happened, sort of, and look, I've been there on the football field when that relief happens, and it's just, emotions. The nerves that he must have been feeling on that drive. Stones to hit Kevin Norwood 3 straight times, and then it's like, they forced an incompletion on the next one. We got to go to something else, and it was just, we'll hit a screen pass. It was perfectly dialed up, and it was. And T.J. Yeldon walks in, and Yeldon's from Mobile as well. I'm pretty sure. To me, just burns in my brain as big drive for Alabama in 2012, and another national championship. What it means for the Tide. So 2 drives resulting in national championships. I got 3 more, Theo, and then you can go. 2014, Blake Sims. Blake Sims, you should never have done any of this. This is incredible. LSU takes a 10-3 lead. 13-10 lead. It's a 3-point lead. And Alabama gets the ball back with 50 seconds left. Down 3. Blake Sims goes 9 plays, 55 yards. 55 yards. He goes complete to A.J. Howard, incomplete to DeAndrew White. Blake Sims runs for 5 yards. Blake Sims complete to O.J. Howard, incomplete to Amari Cooper. I mean, basically LSU is blanketing Amari.
No, and mind you, that was a pure drop. Amari just dropped the ball.
Oh, boy. Okay, thank you.
Which is crazy, yeah.
Thank you.
it's so uncharacteristic.
Your memory's better than mine at this point.
This is the first one of these that I remember.
Okay,
and I
all right,
remember
good.
this whole game
Good,
vividly.
good. You can jump in. And then we find Christian. Like, all these people on this drive are unlikely heroes.
Yeah. That's Paul Bryant head coach, Christian Jones.
That's right. That's right. Christian Jones, 22 yards to the LSU 26, and you get an incomplete pass, and then you find DeAndre White again for 16 yards down to the 10, and Adam Griffith gets his kick six redemption, basically sending the game to overtime. And then, not to make it, I mean, it's a two-parter for me, for Blake Sims. You go into overtime, and he says, "Oh, we're going right back at it. 6 plays, 25 yards with the touchdown pass to DeAndre White to take the 7-point lead." And the Alabama defense did the rest. All right, 2 more here. We already have the Bryce Young drive. Oh, that's ahead. Okay, before the Bryce Young drive, it's Tua getting hurt in the SEC championship. And it's Alabama down, tied. You're tied 28-all. Oh my! Actually, no. Tua leads this next drive. Oh yeah. That's Jalen. I love you so much. Alabama is losing by 7 when Tua gets hurt, and you got the ball. Jalen comes in, complete to Irv Smith, incomplete. Damian Harris run. Jalen Hurts to Jalen Waddle for 23 yards. Basically, he leads not 1, but 2 drives. His first drive ends with Jalen Hurts pass complete to Jerry Jeudy, 10 yards for a touchdown to tie the game, 28-28. Alabama's defense gets a stop and 6 plays, and you give it right back to Jalen with 3 minutes left in the game. Mind you, this is forgotten Jalen Hurts. This is outcast Jalen Hurts. This is not good enough. Oh, we need to bench him. How many times in 2017 was it? We just need to put Tua in. He's no good. He can't read a defense. He can't pass the football. And what does he do against Georgia? He basically reads the defense as well. In this next drive, he gets a Damian Harris 1-yard run, and then it was a Jalen Hurts 1-yard run. So it's 3rd and 8 at the 50 with 1:45, and people are, oh boy, nervous. What's he do? Goes from 1 to 2 to 3 and hits Irv Smith for 19 yards and a first down, squeezing it in the tightest bleeping window of my life.
That was it. And again, this is one, like I remember that 2014 drive. This one burned in my brain forever.
And so the confidence he gains with a 3rd down completion after he literally goes from 1 to 2 to 3 in the progression. And then he said, oh, here's Jalen Waddle for 16 yards down to the 15-yard line. And oh, in case you forgot, Georgia, I can still run. Runs it in the end zone. It's the Superman, the Cam Newton Superman. Yes, that's fine. And I've re-enrolled in school at this point, Theo. And I have thought I want to see Alabama win a national championship when I'm in school. And Jalen Hurts does that. And I'm on my couch just weeping at the moment because the redemption for Jalen Hurts of you can't throw, Tua needs to be in there, forgotten man, benched him, comes in and saves the season. So much. And then, of course, you got the Bryce Young drive in 2021. Bryce Young, stone cold killer, absolute assassin. I'll just skip all the way to 3rd and 7. 3rd and 7 with 42 seconds left, down by you're tied. Yeah, tied at 10. Am I looking at the wrong drive?
I believe so.
I'm looking at the wrong drive. No, that's overtime. I'm looking at the right drive. ESPN has their things messed up a little bit because it's archived. You got 40-something seconds left. It's 3rd and 7. He has an incomplete pass and smiles at the camera like, oh, it's 4th and 7, 38 seconds left. We don't care. 14 yards to Jaleel Billingsley. And then another incomplete. 3rd and 10 with 24 seconds left. How about a Ja'Cory Brooks back shoulder dagger over his shoulder into the Auburn end zone to tie the game and send the game to overtime. So, Theo, I've just talked for about 5-10 minutes. Tell me, what do you think in the Theo Hernandez personal record book is the greatest Alabama football drive?
Look, objectively speaking, Bryce Young. It's unreal. It is absurd the way that he is dicing up this Auburn defense that has been on him all day. That has shut him down to really a level that no team has shut him down all season. And the way that he goes and leads that drive. With that being said, let's revisit that 2014 LSU game.
No bleeping business doing that. None at all.
Because, first the drive itself, but then
you hit me with what happened before the drive. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is just unreal for anyone who doesn't remember this game.
No business in this game.
LSU, incredible punt with 45 seconds left, right? And they pin Alabama inside the 1. And here comes the hero from that 2012 drive, TJ Yeldon. He runs for 5 yards. He runs for 3 yards. That ball's out. And he fumbles the football.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a fumbling problem.
LSU picks it up at the Alabama 6. And this is with 1:10 to go.
So does the defensive effort add to the lore? Go ahead.
Well, so this is the whole thing. The fact that the drive itself, okay, not as impressive as some of the other ones. But just as far as the actual game goes and how we managed to win, how we somehow managed to pull that game out of the hat, unreal. Because LSU somehow gets an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And that backs them up from the 6 to the 21. And, our run defense comes through. We managed to stuff Leonard Fournette, who was probably a freshman at that point, right? I'd have to admit, because he was drafted 2017 was his rookie year. So, he was a freshman. Because 14, 15, 16. Yeah, and we somehow come out with that game. But that's an incredible moment. And I'd say the same thing about Hurts. That is one of the greatest stories in college football history. Just against the team that you got benched against to come back a year later and do it. And then for it to kick even more so now because we saw it kick-started all this other, what was he, second in Heisman voting with Oklahoma that next year?
Right. So everybody, this is my biggest contention with Jalen Hurts, and he's not an Alabama player. He's an Oklahoma player. I hate that conversation so much. Oh, y'all benched him. Y'all rejected him. Alabama shunned him. All right. They put him on the bench. But the entire year, he's learning under Dan Enos, and he's watching Tua, and look, did Lincoln Riley make him better? 1,000%. Lincoln Riley poured into him and should get credit. But the process was started with the benching. And to me, the 2 drives, he comes into his hurt and completes that drive to tie the game. And it's passes in both of those drives that show me, oh my gosh, he's figuring it out. I mean, no, he's not perfect, but he is reading the defense. He is not staring down one guy. 2016, it was, where's Calvin Ridley? And that's fine. Calvin was a great player, and it worked for him. You had the legs, SEC freshman of the year. It worked for you. But by the time the tape started to catch up with the other college defenses, Jalen kind of got boxed in a little bit. You had to put Tua in. Jalen had to improve. You threw Jalen into those drives, and the feel was, oh, are we about to be one-dimensional? Is it about to be quarterback run, Damian Harris smashing into the line, hospital balls over the middle like we saw? No. He shows a complete, I don't want to say different player, but it was a very different passer at that moment. And I highlight the third down pass to Irv Smith, where he works through the progression, hangs in the pocket. That was Jalen's issues. Was, I'm feeling pressure, bail, baby, bail, and it's fine. You're a young player. That's the way it goes for a freshman. And for him to show from the freshman year in 16 through the benching and then to get put back in, I'm gonna hang in the pocket. I'm gonna read my defenses. I'm gonna deliver the ball. Was just magical to me.
Agreed. And, I remember that game very vividly. December 1st, my parents' anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Fernandez.
We always set up the Christmas tree. So
nice.
I leave the Christmas tree setting up to go watch that game because, I see Alabama, Georgia in the fourth quarter, and I see Tua go down. And just watch, that was.
Yeah, what'd you feel? What were you? Did I just describe the?
You did, and look, I obviously didn't have a. My connection to Alabama football at the time was mostly just rooting against them. But I just thought it was so cool, to see. Because Tua to me was, I've watched what he's done all year. I'm like, yeah, this guy's unreal. And then just watching, that was cool to me. That was, wow, that's awesome.
I think the Nick Saban facial expression after that game should tell you so much. How proud he was of Jalen, and just one of the few times in the Saban career where he didn't maintain the, next play, next game. He sat there during the post game and soaked it up for a minute. And I'm sure they obviously moved on, but he soaked it up. And oh my gosh, so. And I'm gonna nail you down. We gotta nail us down. Oh gosh, well, I hate it.
One more thing on this.
Go ahead.
We will never see a moment like that ever again. We will never.
I hate you, transfer portal.
Just objectively speaking, there's no reason for something like that to ever happen again, and that makes it even more special to me.
Daggum transfer portal drives me nuts. All right, Theo, we got to nail that. I have five drives, and I'm absolutely welcome more drives. If you have more Alabama football expertise, call us on the voicemail line 205-462-7340 extension 800, or just leave me a comment at Joe Gaither 6 at Theo Fernandez _, or at Bama Central. Leave us your favorite Alabama football drive. Oh my gosh, I guess. And we're going to bring this back with Mason tomorrow because I think Mason's going to have a lot of topic, a lot of juice on this. I'm conflicted, but I think the sheer improbability of the Blake Sims drive, the Blake Sims moments. I mean, as you outlined, the fumble, then the reset. You get into field goal range, and Blake Sims was Lane Kiffin was an absolute wizard. Was an absolute wizard making Blake Sims viable.
He still is a wizard.
Yeah, of course. I think emotionally speaking, the AJ McCarron and the AJ McCarron drive and the Jalen Hurts drive touched me the most. But as far as if I want to be objective in football, I think Blake Sims probably, because Bryce Young should have never been in that position.
Right. Yeah.
That Auburn team was not good. Mm-hmm. That Auburn team was objectively, weren't they 6 and 7?
6 and 6.
They were awful. Yeah. They should have that. Yes, 97 yards to tie the game and force overtime is stupid and impressive. Yeah. But you should have never been there. Bryce Young, you're a Heisman Trophy winner. You're sorry, to me, the best quarterback that's ever played at the capstone. You should never have been in that position. Blake Sims, I love you, amazing player in that year, but we can all be. He's a converted running back, leading the team. I think 2014 is my winner.
I think 2014, to me, is just as much about, to me, 2014 is set up just as much by the stuff that happened immediately before it.
Sure.
As is the Jalen Hurts drive.
Yeah.
It's not as impressive as, as impressive a drive as some of the other stuff. So it's interesting because, to me, on the road, in the Iron Bowl, in a game where that win kept your playoff hopes alive, right? You lose, you're not going to be there.
Yep.
To me, I'm going 97 yards in a minute, 11 seconds. And I don't think you can beat that.
That 4th and 7 is a strong. That 4th and 7 conversion is a strong, strong bullet point to me. And then the dropping the third and 10, you're dropping it in the bucket to Ja'Cory Brooks, pop right in the back end of the end zone was. I mean, those two throws. Little baby Bryce, my favorite quarterback ever.
And it's funny while we're talking about all this, right? And we're guilty of recency bias.
Yes, that's why that's why I really do want those with an older perspective to chime in here.
Right. But I don't think you can top that Bryce Young drive. Just funny because we had an even cooler play even more recently than that, but that it wasn't a drive, it was just one insane
grave digger.
Yeah.
How about I saw this. I saw this over the weekend too. Well, we can finish right here.
Okay.
Despite Jalen Milroe's passing ability, good or bad, does Jalen Milroe have the single greatest? Does Jalen Milroe have the single greatest pass in Alabama history, or at least one of the two greatest passes in Alabama history? Second and 26 being the other candidate.
I don't think you can even consider putting anything else number one.
Second and 26.
It's a great throw. It is. I get national championship, all that. Fourth and
how
do
stupid.
You understand
how stupid,
how unreal 4th and 31 is?
How stupid.
Like, it's mind-boggling. Like, at the end of the day, that he doesn't
at least
pull that off.
Tua might have had a 3rd and 26.
He might have had a 3rd and 26, right? Or, we might have kicked a field goal. Georgia might have kicked a field goal, and it continues. The season is over if we don't somehow convert that 4th and 31. We are playing in just another New Year's Six Bowl. To me, that Milroe has the greatest pass in Alabama football history.
I don't think we need to say anything more. We need to wrap up right there. We really, really appreciate everybody having a fun time with us today. We hope you celebrate Memorial Day appropriately with your family and think about the right things today. Enjoy yourselves. If you're off, and we appreciate you spending some of your Memorial Day with us. Follow Theo Fernandez at Theo Fernandez _. Follow me at Joe Gaither 6. We are at Bama Central. This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com. Proudly sponsored by Warren Tire and Auto. Go see them today. 2 great locations. They're not taking Memorial Day off. We know auto issues never take a day off. You can see them on University Boulevard or on 15th Street. We appreciate Derek Daniel. They'll be back in the office tomorrow. Call them at 205-758-3391 for your insurance needs. We'll be out of here. We'll get Dax's voicemail on linebackers tomorrow. You can call the voicemail machine 205-462-7340 extension 800. Mason's going to be back from the lake tomorrow, so we will have a lot of fun. We'll find out where Alabama baseball is going here in about an hour for NCAA regionals. We didn't even touch on Alabama softball.
And let's keep it that way.
Absolutely. We're going to leave it that way and have a great day. So we'll talk to you tomorrow right here on the Joe Gaither Show. Thank you so much on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither 6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.